I kind of held the board in my hands looking at it, realizing I was going to flip it over, and I was going to see these numbers right here. Reading from left to right, LDR 6023, DOC X6 V1.2, which other than the 0.2 on the end, is the same as the SwitchCon and the CF001. So what exactly does this mean? Well, it means they're basically all using the same board, they're rebranding, and they're funding Kickstarters that way. And really, you're allowed to buy into it if you want. I just think everyone should know that it's a ripoff. And yes, people do use the same chips for different things. Specifically, flash memory is generally passed around pretty well. Processors also passed around pretty well. So are USB chips. But I'm not going to open like a Toshiba and get the same, like a Toshiba laptop, and get the same exact board that's in an HP laptop. It just does not happen. It doesn't. So that's why I'm thrown off by this SFANS dock. So we've talked about SFANS probably more than I really care to on this channel. However, there are a lot of concerns that were around it leading up to its release. And believe it or not, I said this in the last video, I would make a follow-up video if they actually released something to the public and sent it out to backers. And they actually did. I can't believe it, to be honest. They actually sent something out to people who backed them. Now, is the product good? That's something else here we'll have to talk about. But I am at least happy that they sent something of value. We're going to get to its value too, because I did reach out to some other people about how much this thing maybe cost them to make. Anyway, what happened was SFANS sent out the product that they changed to. If you remember, they originally were going to send out really something that looked very similar to the C-Force. As we talked about, it's using the same board. Again, you just saw I wasn't comfortable with it, but it was funded and I kind of moved on from it from there. Now, they did change, and if you check my last video, they did change from that standard design of a box with a cable coming out, USB-C ports, HDMI, USB 3 ports, everything. It was a cool little device. They changed from that to a dock, like a standalone dock like the Nyko one, citing Amazon reviews, 2 of them by the way. That's not the real reason that they changed it, just so you know. There's a little more to it. I actually might have been a little more right than I thought I was back in July, just so you know. Now, what happened here was they sent these out, and no one's really that happy with them because they're built very cheap. Like, if you look at the plastic in some of these pictures, it looks super rough. It doesn't have that two-tone color that we had in the other one, and it just looks very, very poor. It looks like it was severely rushed, go figure. And they did send these out, and the problems that people are having are eye-opening. Some of the ports don't work. Like the USB port, some of them don't work. The HDMI port doesn't work. It doesn't charge all the time. There's so many issues. Some people even said that the plastic mold that they got around theirs doesn't line up with the ports. And now everyone online's talking about this because bigger outlets picked it up. Kotaku picked it up. The thing was viewed 168,000 times and was even on their front page for a while. And this prompted a lot of people to send me messages on Twitter, really talking about what happened here. And they kind of expressed almost like it was like a victory because I was right about this, but there is absolutely no victory here. None. Because what happened here was, well, people did get taken for a ride for over $120,000, and their Indiegogo page has not changed. They are still advertising something that they are not actually selling anymore, and people are still buying in this Indiegogo campaign, which is crazy to me. So that's something that maybe Indiegogo wants to look into, although based on what they've done in the past, they don't seem to care because, again, Indiegogo does get money as people pledge. So at this point, no one's stopping them to just leave their page up, collect money, send out these terrible docs that I wouldn't plug my Switch into, to be honest, because it's terrifying after what we saw with at least a reputable brand with Nyko. And we hear that some people are having issues where that's damaging their Switch. Not a lot. I just don't think that many. Mine works fine, to be honest. But to have that, and then we see this dock that looks absolutely terrible, basically like junk. What do you think that could do to your Switch? I wouldn't plug mine in. That's all I'm going to say. So they write this article. People are talking about it. Digitrends, I think, writes about it. And then we start hearing that they tried to reach out for a while. And I'm going to tell you now, SFANS is not coming back. They have pretty much gone from start to finish. They have provided everything that Indiegogo needs them to provide. They've given people a product. It's not the exact same one, but this isn't the first time that's happened, to be honest. It's happened before with crowdfunding, where a different product goes out, people get it, and unfortunately for the people who backed it, that is pretty much an open and shut case. They provided a product, and now they're off into the sunset with their money. The thing is kind of sad here is I did send a message to SFANS. So I sent the one prior. They didn't think that the fans would be able to get this dock out in time, at least not to quality. They ended up being right about that. I talked to them about the dock. They seemed actually kind of familiar with their dock, which was interesting. And they told me that it more than likely didn't cost SFANS. Again, this is from SFANS. This is their opinion on the dock. Didn't cost SFANS more than $5 to make the thing. And that's kind of a shame because they are charging, you know, 70, 80 bucks per dock that they're sending out. So they didn't put a lot of time, effort, or really money into these docks, according to another company that's they're done. They're on their way. They've completed their Kickstarter, and they're actually working on new products now that are coming out for the Switch, other SFANS adapters. So it really doesn't matter to them what happens from there with SFANS because they've completed their Kickstarter that I don't think you can even pledge to anymore, and they're actually selling their SFANS adapters in stores and like shops online. So they've completely moved past Kickstarter. They were kind enough to let me know about some of this information. But here we are now, and now we have to look at this and say, what do we learn from this situation? Because unfortunately, people have tried chargebacks, a lot of stuff, and they're just not getting their money back. So we really need to step back, look at this situation, and we have to take a few tells from this and take them with us going forward with crowdsourcing. The biggest thing is transparency. SFANS did not answer anyone with a concrete answer. They clearly were not telling people the truth about why they had to change really their dock. It wasn't because of Amazon reviews. There were other reasons in the background. So that's not why. They weren't transparent there. They were never transparent about the ship date, and they didn't even update, from what I've seen so far, about when they were even shipping these out, or really any problems that people are having. I think we're not going to hear from them again, and that should be a big red flag at that point. Now, I know really in the beginning they were at least updating, and it seemed great, but as time went on, it became very concerning. So what you need to do is if you go to a crowdsourcing page of any kind, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever, before you pledge any money, look at the comments. Okay, because the comments are where you're going to get the most truthful information, because there will be people there saying, we haven't heard from you guys in a while. I haven't received my item yet. What's going on? Why did you change it? And when you start seeing people say chargebacks, maybe don't put your money in. We're going to go with that, okay? Don't put your money in if you start seeing people say, I'm going to get my money back, I want to refund this, that, and the other, because there's a chance that it's not completing or they're not getting the item that they're requesting. But I guess the other thing is search around online, because believe it or not, there were other YouTubers, smaller ones, that made SFANS videos. I saw like 4 or 5 where people were heavily concerned with what's going on with SFANS. Why haven't we heard from them? People who actually backed it, they did make videos about this. It's just they were so small, they were getting a couple hundred views, and it kind of got swept under the rug. So keep an eye out on social media, on YouTube, search on Twitter, see what people are saying about these different crowdsourcing projects, because sometimes they'll block their comments, and if they do, the block updates comments, yeah, maybe then start searching around other places. That's all we can do. You have to research these companies. And unfortunately for everyone, SFANS did not turn out the way we wanted to, and we have to take it as a chance to learn more about crowdsourcing. It's gotten a bad name because these bigger crowdsourcing campaigns that go terribly off the rails tend to get the most publicity, because there are a bunch of Kickstarter, there are a bunch of Indiegogo campaigns that go well. Things work out on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. It's just we always hear about the failures. We don't really ever hear too much about the success stories. And finally, guys, the one thing you should take away from me and this channel is I got this SFANS dock for free, right? They sent it out to me. They sent it out to everyone. They sent it out to pretty much, they just blitz social media with these things for free. Now, I did my review, and then I open it and find all this out. And the one thing I will always tell you guys is, even if I get a product for free from a company, if there is something I am concerned about, I will tell you guys. I'm not going to pretend like there's not an issue. So keep that in mind going forward. If like something like this pops up again, even if they send it to me and it's like a $200 item or something, I'm going to let you guys know that I don't feel comfortable with it, much like I did this one. So remember that going forward, because they can send me 10 of these and I really don't care about them. So that's the way it is. I'm on the consumer side. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. I think this is it. I don't think I have to make another video on the SFANS dock. I'm kind of happy, actually, that I can move on from this because it's actually been going on for a long time. I've been in communication with several companies, including C-Force, about what's going on here because SFANS still doesn't get back to me about any of this stuff, so I wonder why. Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, if you were on the receiving end of one of these docks, open it up and take some pictures, because I want to see what the inside of that dock looks like. You might need a hammer to get it open, so, you know, run out and get one of those if you need to. Sometimes, like a butter knife to even pry it open, but I'm really curious what the inside of it looks like. Go ahead and tag me on Twitter with one if you do open it up, and just let me know what's in there. Look for board numbers, anything you can, because I'm curious if this is their actual original design or if they just happen to come across another board. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.